Hello and welcome back. I'm Veronica DiPolo, former image consultant, as you may have noticed in my previous videos, but also I'm a marketing consultant and I'm all about personal branding. What do you have to do for your service? How do you get more leads? But today we're all about image consulting and what my team has built, these 73 questions that I will see if I'm going to be able to answer them. I'm going to get comfortable here. I haven't actually looked at them, so they're gonna come off the cuff really like I see them. What does classic actually mean? And what does it hide? What do you mean by classic? It could be considered as a conservative in some cases, I would say. In my case, I think classic to me is like basics, like a t-shirt, like jeans, like black pants, trousers, like a blazer. Those for me are like classics. Or if you have like knitted jumpers and sweaters, those for me are simple classics. What do they hide? I don't really know what they hide, but I would say that if you're thinking that that dressing behind a classic look hides who you are, then I think ditch that one. Don't do it. Bring out your personality, bring out something into that classic look, because I think that's what makes it more fun when you are putting classics into certain things that represent you. What's the difference between someone who looks expensive and someone who is? Who looks expensive and someone who is? Girls want gossip here. I mean, somebody who could look expensive doesn't mean that they actually are expensive. I mean, I know a lot of us strive to be or look as if we're something, right? I don't necessarily think that clothes makes the person at all, but some people do believe that the clothes makes them. But that has to be with something more internal, more in the mindset of the person. This one is tricky. Somebody who is expensive. What do you mean? You mean their bank account, or? I'm trying to decipher these questions. They're tough questions. Tough cookies. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Can you fake confidence through clothing? Of course you can. Of course. I mean, you know how many times I dress up just to feel better? It doesn't mean that on the inside I'm feeling great, but I do a little bit of the effort. And actually when I don't feel like going out, I just don't go out. I just don't put the clothes on and that's it, and I just stay in my PJs. But I do think that fake it until you make it is the thing here. So yeah, definitely. What's the tell that someone dresses for someone else's approval? Oh yes, we do this all the time. And let me tell you this is from years of experience, and if you have a different opinion, please leave it in the comments. But this is my opinion. I believe that women dress for women. It's true, and it's happened to me. I used to have this boyfriend that he hated that I wore skirts, or that I actually chopped my hair and had fringe and all these sort of things, and I ended up doing them and I ended up hating him. That's why he's not the boyfriend, right? But besides the point, we end up actually dressing for the person that we want to impress the most. So if you're going out and you have a great relationship with your man and your man loves how you dress, then you're not necessarily dressing for him most of the time. You're dressing for your girlfriends or the people that you know, or you're going to your job, so you're dressing for them, which is fine, and I love that, because if that's gonna bring out your sassiness, your personality, then keep on going for that. But if you're doing what I did in my 18, 19, 20 years, that you're dressing for somebody and they still don't appreciate it, or they have bad reviews or comments or anything, or you gotta go and change, then I don't think that is the way to go. I believe you have to do like on the airplane. You put your mask on first and then your child's mask on, which means you take care of you first and then let the rest flow. What's the color do women reach for when they want to disappear? Black, black, I don't know why. I don't know, there must be something internally that when you feel low, well, you feel in a hole, right? So black is the color. Well, actually, black is, I love black. I love black. It doesn't mean that I'm sad when I wear black, but if I have gained weight, yes, I will wear black. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna look better sometimes. That's like a tricky kind of thing about fashion, right? That you think that black is the color that makes you look slimmer. Actually, what it does make you look slimmer is that you are in a whole total look. That's what makes you, when you cut your colors and you chop them, then you look shorter, or you don't look that as thin, or the length of your pants are not all the way down. Maybe they're cutting you. There's so many things, right? But yeah, it's black. Black is black. Is minimalism a choice or an avoidance strategy? Oh God, girls. Minimalism is a style choice, of course. But it's like also in your house, I think. You know, as you are doing your interior decoration, you don't like clutter, which means that you also don't like clutter when you dress. You're more minimalistic, meaning you don't like to accessorize as much as maybe I would put. Like maybe you would not wear this, you'd like more simple things. You're more classic. It doesn't mean that you're classic. It could be that you're more modern, but you're more minimalistic. Same as your home. But I personally don't think it's an avoidance strategy. Some people actually do love it. Some people just don't. Why would you say avoidance? Now you got into my head. Okay, so avoidance, I would say, well, you don't want to think too much what to wear. I would get that. Men do that most of the time. That, I'm not saying most men, because with time we've seen that men tend to dress up and they like to look good. But let's take designers, right? Designers, like big designers, they're already designing their clothes. They look great, they look amazing. When you see them walk out of the runway, they're dressed in black. They don't want to be thinking about them. It's not about them. It's about, and that's the way that they actually dress. Like Michael Kors, Calvin Klein, who else? Well, actually everybody, most of the male ones, they all like a t-shirt and jeans, and you know, Alexander McQueen, and he was like super, and he was always dressed so simple. So yeah, I don't think it's avoidance, to be honest. Okay. What's the most misunderstood concept in a personal style? What I do think is that a lot of people think that they can actually wear everything. Yes, you might wear everything, but it needs to be depending on your tone, on your complexion, on your height, as well as even your weight, okay? Don't get me wrong, but it's your whole. So you can see a model wearing something beautiful. It doesn't mean that it's gonna look great on you. Maybe that shape will not great on you. Every color looks great on everybody, just to be clear, okay? Every color looks, and maybe this is a question on 73, I don't know, but every color looks great on everybody. It's the shade of color that is different, because you have different pigmentations, you have different features in your face. It doesn't mean that if something looks great on me, it's gonna look great on you. And I know most women do think that, you know, but maybe you don't have to wear it exactly the same way. You can make it your own. That's what I love about personal style, because it's personal, it's about you, it's not about somebody else. What did your clients say they wanted and what they actually need? Okay, so this is something that I did on another video, but in case you're wondering, most of the time people will come to me, even in my business right now, they come to me for leads, or they came to me for styling, or like organize my wardrobe and do everything color coded. And I used to do all that. Okay, I love it. I mean, I still do. Okay, and people would come for that, and in the end, we would come to the conclusion. Well, I would actually come to the conclusion that we were having more deeper conversations about their personal brand, about who they were, how they felt, who they heard stuff say about what they were wearing, what they were not wearing, what they were coming to, maybe a meeting, or they were at a conference, or they, all these sort of like talk, it built. And we would sit for hours talking about this. How can we, not overthink our thoughts? How can we forget about all this and still be present and still bring out that personal brand of who you are every single time? And actually, I have an audio recording just about this, because this is something that it happened in my 30s, where I lost myself and I built something to bring out that personal brand of who I am, and I wanted to share it with other people. You can find that on my website, by the way. So it's free. It's a little freebie that will give you a boost if you are a bit lost on your personal brand and your personal style. Because I redid it again. I did it first for personal branding, and then I redid it again. What's the first sign someone has outgrown their style? If I would have read this before, I would have not know what to say. I mean, it could be that you feel better with who you are, and you used to dress as somebody that maybe you were, and this is something that I love about, for example, in those TV shows where people actually do the before and after and the reveals, and you notice that somebody has been dressing the same way for the last 30 years, and and they go to these shows and they talk to these stylists, and they're like, oh, my life is this, my life is that, and I want to be this. You want so many things, but you got stuck on your wardrobe, and your wardrobe is not actually helping you. But it's really is that you realize that you've been dressing a certain kind of way, and you're in a different path, and you want to do all these things, and maybe you're building a career change, or you just had a baby, or you got divorced, all these sort of things. That means that also your wardrobe should change. Why not? I like to flip it every few years, I like to shift things around. I don't say I have the same style that I had in my 20s, that I don't have in my 30s or in my 40s. Yeah, okay, I'm in my 50s. I can't believe it. But I think that's the sign, is that when you have changed, when you are in a different kind of life, that is the moment you realize that you have outgrown your own style. And that is the perfect moment to actually get a new wardrobe. Not a new one. I don't believe in that. Never mind. I believe in for you to complement what you don't have, and then give away and all these sort of things. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. This was quite fun. And we're going to keep doing them until 7-3. We're just 20, and we'll keep on going. Okay, have a great day. Bye.